Making Christmas, making Christmas. Did you guys know that in the off-Broadway production of The Nightmare Before Christmas, I played the original Oogie Boogie? That's not true. But here is some true tea. It's time for me to start making Christmas presents. Usually I'm done in like January, but I've been sleeping all year because I don't feel good. So, okay. This little Birdcage deal was $12 at Hobby Lobby. I got it when it was 90% off because it's spring, apparently. So I paid like $1.20 for it. And I brought all this stuff out because I wanted to show you how I store my projects before I actually get around to doing them. So everything was just in a big bag. All my succulents, the Birdcage, and then I have another bucket of succulents and some moss off to the side. And right now I'm just going through and figuring out what I want to make. What I want to use, rather. I know what I'm making. Actually, I don't know what I'm making at this point. I know that I'm putting succulents together with this birdhouse, and I'm going to shove a candle in it. I got these string of pearls up at the top from Hobby Lobby. Everything else came from either Dollar Tree or Family Dollar, I think. Yeah, I don't think they were from anywhere else. I'm vetoing a lot of stuff right away based on the fact that some of it looks really shiny. Don't like the shiny for succulents. Some of them look really fake. Some of them are way too big. I mean, this thing right here, it's enormous. And I'm like, oh, I can make that work. No, you can't. No. You need like a bird cage for an ostrich to do that. So this thing was a little wobbly, like the lid was a little off kilter, so I did bend it back into shape before I got started. And right now I'm thinking, do I want to put the succulents like along the bottom? But all along when I bought this, I knew I wanted the succulents at the top. So obviously that's what I'm going to do. But I did consider like grouping them around the bottom. For a little bit I was thinking about putting them inside the bird cage, but I thought for sure that you wouldn't be able to see them as well, which probably true. And I'm just starting to glue with my string of pearls because that's the only thing that's going to extend past the top. And I am using my compressed air for this just because I don't want to sit there and hold these things for an hour and a half while they're cooling off. So I'm just kind of test fitting things first, and then when I know they go in there, I'm adding the glue, hitting them with the compressed air. It cools the glue instantly and you can move on to the next thing. So the string of pearls. I really liked this one, but it was so big. It was too long. And I could have cut it off, I guess, but yeah, I'm trying to put it everywhere. I'm like, gonna go here or there. This one, I don't. The green was too green against the dark purple. I really wanted like a purple element in there because there's some blues, there's some yellows, there's some greens, but I wanted that purple and I didn't really get it. You know, this one's going in there, holding it down. And I do go back and add some glue around the back side because you're gluing onto chicken wire, which doesn't have that much surface area. So if you can go back in and reinforce it, that'll make sure everything sticks. And because I'm gluing essentially rubber to metal, I am using my glue gun on the high heat setting, which you'll see later when I burn my finger. Not really burn, just touch the glue and I'm like, ah, man, that's hot. And then I remembered it was on high heat. So this is my little blue color that I was adding right there. And I'm trying to make this one work because it's like yellow. This succulent was so heavy. I don't know why it was so heavy. It was just extremely heavy. Like, that's too much. This is the same one I just put on, but I'm putting them across from each other because succulents in nature, like when they start propagating themselves, they send out the little baby succulents on the side. So I wanted them to look like they were kind of together, like they kind of came in the same car to the party. And you'll see me keep moving this little hanging loop. I'm trying to get that up in the air because if I keep it down, I'm just going to end up covering it up, and I didn't want to do that. So it's up a little bit, but it's also glued to the succulents, so it's not really gonna move around much. Because I didn't want it flexing back and forth and maybe possibly cracking one of the succulents off. So now, even though I picked out everything I want, I'm going through, and I wanted this, but then I was like, that looks like a giant pineapple. That's a SpongeBob house. So I said no. But now that I'm looking back at it, I'm like, I should have done that. But I'm really happy with the way it came out. So I'm adding another string of pearls up there, just tucking it in, making sure it contacts something, and then hitting with the compressed air. And then I'm getting another one in the back over here. When I bought this like maybe during the summer, and I don't know why I thought it was so much bigger than it was, but when I opened up the bag that it was in, I was like, wait, this is like small. So my dreams of having 35 succulents on top of it went out the window, which is fine because it did come out super cute. Now I'm taking this disgusting moss from Dollar Tree and I am filling any holes that are super obvious underneath the succulents, because they're not like flat up against the birdcage. They're kind of angled and tilted and turned, so I wanted to make sure I went in and cover up anything where you can see the glue or you can see the stems, or anything where there's just a hole. And now that that's done, I have this mess on the inside, so I'm just going to go in with my glue gun, with my moss, put the glue down, smash the moss into it, trying to get the moss as flat as possible, because that means it's making contact with as much glue as possible. Like the most amount of moss is making contact with the glue that's there. So I'm being generous with the glue, I'm being generous with the moss, and then I blow it out afterwards to get everything that's not attached. And right here I'm just trying to poke some of the moss through the holes. I see my candle's gonna go in there, so I'm gonna take, and it's an LED candle, it's not a real candle. Don't do this and put a real candle in it. Your house will catch on fire. I'm putting glue around the base, just around the outside, not the whole thing, because I still want the candle to sit flat. I'm just going around the edge to add a little moss to the bottom, and there's that kind of scroll work at the very base of the birdcage. I keep calling this a birdcage. Is it a birdcage? I mean, kind of, right? It's got chicken wire on it. Because the moss will peek out through that scroll work. And when I'm done with this, I know I definitely go in there with the compressed air and just blow everything that's not attached out. There you go, see, going everywhere. And that's it. It was quick. I think it took me maybe half an hour to do this. And most of it was trying to find which pieces I wanted where. You can see the moss just barely peeking out the bottom. And my table's a mess. Not only is there stuff everywhere, but it's like a mossy mess. So this is what it looks like with the LED candle in the inside. It's one of those ones where the flame moves. And this is going to someone for Christmas. But they're probably not watching this, so be surprised. And thanks you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, turn your notifications, follow me on Instagram, and I will see you guys on Monday, I think? I don't know what today is. What's going on? What day is it? I don't know. Bye.